And then the ego is just playing a game to keep itself entertained. Like, the ego is basically God. Well, the ego, because it doesn't really exist. Sorry, buddy. But it's God playing a game to, like, discover itself, to rediscover itself, you know? It's a quote that goes, God became man so that man can become God. And I get it. I get it now. So the ego is, like, you seeking what God is just the ego entertaining itself. It already knows what God is. It is. You feel me? It already is.
I'm trying to get that green back. I'm trying to get that green back. We'll never be broke again. Broke again. Whole damn world
I'm back with another one. Man, today we got a banger, man. Man, it's so crazy because, like, feel me, I just be doing me, man, learning about, feel me, just learning about the truth, man, just seeking truth, man. And it's just so crazy, like, because earlier today, feel me, I'm learning. I'm learning about Buddhism, you know. I'm writing down notes, takeaways and whatnot. And feel me, let me share one of y'all. The main takeaway I got from what I was watching, man, was, all right, so look, after I got everything I got, man, and collected all the data that I needed, information, and it was all smacking, man, just talking about suffering and, feel me, just the reality of things, and just how let me close this, I keep looking at it, just the reality of things, and how basically just the main thing that I took for me that they was talking about was who you really are, and the idea of the self, and the idea of I, and how there really is no I, there really is no self. So that was the main takeaway. So, like, after I collected all that data, for me, my mind was processing everything, even though the mind can't really understand this concept, because for me that's a whole nother topic. But so the main thing I took away was, like, I said, my goal is to think less in terms of me, I, and self, and more in terms of being, and not how I'm being, but just being itself, just experiencing itself. So, like, the goal is to think more in terms of just experiencing. For me, I would say observing the emotions, but that still kind of goes into the I am type of aspect. So and that's something you just really can't get around. But it's crazy though. The crazy part is, feel me, I'm scrolling, feel me, through the tube, and this video right here pop up. I'm like, let me click it right quick, you know. So I click it, and the first thing they say is this: well, not this, but we gonna get to it. Let me actually read that. It says, this video is from a higher spiritual perspective to provoke an idea. It is not meant to question / promote any faith. Real deal, Holyfield. It says, creation is finished. Neville Goddard. Thus the word creation is used only to understand / rationalize the ideas presented in this video. Creation is finished. Thus, the word creation is used only to understand / rationalize the ideas presented in this video. Interesting. But this the part, you know. Turn him up.
You cannot understand God. You can only know God by
Oh wait. My bad. Let him finish
know
his sentence.
God by experiencing it.
You cannot understand God. You can only know God by experiencing it. Bro, I heard that and damn near fell out my goddamn seat. Like, bruh, is that not what I just put down in the notebook? Like, is that not what I just, put together? And I'm like, bruh, that shit crazy. So it's like, it made me think, like, you can't understand God per se, just the reality, truth of what is, using the mind. You have to go beyond the mind. And I guess the next step of going beyond the mind is just being, just experiencing. Like, now I could be wrong. I'm still learning. From I'm a young bodhisattva. From I'm still learning. I'm still seeking truth. I'm still seeking nirvana. So it's like, I don't know, but like it just made so much sense when he said that. So now after that, I just paused the video. I'm like, no, I have to react to this. I'm like, I gotta make a reaction video. So it's the first video I dropped in a little minute. For me, I just had to, think about some things. Think about how I wanted to come on here. So yeah, man, let's get into the video. Let's get it.
And God. You can only know God by experiencing it. From the book Kabbalion, it is stated that God by its very nature is something that cannot be understood. So,
Bruh, and that's a good point, because we can only operate to the level of understanding that we have. So and I feel like as a human being, our understanding of certain things and certain aspects is just capped. Like, this body, it limits certain things of certain levels of understanding, and as long as we're in these physical forms, we'll never really understand what God, or whatever you want to call it, what it really is. We can't, because there's no way for one, there's no way to truly experience what it is. I feel like you can get close to that, like get as close as possible as being a human perspective, but you can't really experience that type of experience on the human level. And if you ask me, I feel like that's what death is. I think at death, that's when you experience God. And for me, that's just what I've put together, and it makes sense to me. So see,
of science to find God may never get it there.
Boom.
Because God is not an entity.
He said the pursuit of science
may never get it there.
May never get it there.
That cannot be understood. So, the pursuit of science to find God may never get it there. Because God is not an entity with a beard and anger issues, sitting on some throne.
That's what I'm saying. We can only perceive to our level of understanding. And us being humans, we have these kind of emotions. So when we create our ideas of God, of course we're gonna look at it. We're basically mirroring ourselves and projecting it as some supreme being and telling us that that's God. So when whoever created the idea of God, or like the standard idea of God, they gave it human attributes, which makes sense because you can only think to a level of a human, because we're human. So of course they're going to give God anger issues or just different human emotions and traits, because we can only understand to our level of understanding. You did.
It is a human personification of God. God is everything. So the essence of God is right here within you.
Man, y'all heard the man. God is everything, man. Come on, man.
But in the presence of your ego, its over-identification with ego, God is missing from your awareness. Ego separates you from the divine.
Man, and that's what I'm saying. Like learning that Buddhism stuff. The idea of self is separate. It makes you feel like you're a separate being from everything else. But when in truth, in reality, it's all the same thing. It's all one thing. It's all God. It's all creation,
And it is ego that has given God so many attributes akin to it, and has personified God.
And that's another reason, like, you can't understand this through the mind, because the mind is in this physical form, in this human form, is limited. It's so limited. It only knows its level of understanding.
It has made God to be some external entity that has a fully developed ego that is capable of judging and hurting. Can't you see? Every single personification of God is so ego-like. Take any mythology or any deity from any religion, and you will see an ego masked as God. That is the take of ego in trying to understand God. As Neville Goddard said, it is one of the greatest spiritual secret, and takes a spiritually awakened mind to realize that you can only examine a thing and try to understand it by looking at it from the outside. But you can only truly know a thing by becoming it. Therefore, you can only know God by experiencing it. inside you. Otherwise, you will forever pursue it from an egoic lens, trying to understand it from the outside.
Damn.
And you will only get to know more of it.
See, it's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy because it kind of contradicts itself. It's like we try to understand it from our level of understanding, but the only way to understand it is through our internal self, or like our own, through the inside, or whatever you want to say. But that's what creates us understanding the inside is what creates the outside perception. So it kind of contradicts in a way.
Creation and not it, because it is behind the veil of everything you see.
Hold on, let me run it back.
Or the lens inside you. Otherwise, you will forever pursue it from an egoic lens, trying to understand it from the outside. And you will only get to know more of its creation and not it, because it is behind the veil of everything you see. As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is energy, and that life-giving energy is God.
Facts.
But we will look at the thing and try to understand it.
Hey, that ties into the I think it's the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm from the book they mentioned, the Kabbalion. Nothing's at rest. Everything is vibrating at a different rate. So nothing is really solid, you feel me? Nothing's really solid. It's all different rates of vibration. And if everything is different rates of vibration, even our minds, even our thoughts, even the air, even the things we can't see, and everything's a different rate of vibration, then God will have to be that. Not just the highest rate of vibration, but vibration itself, even the low rates of vibration.
Attributes. Try to explain it with our logic, missing the entire point.
Let me run him back.
In terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, everything is energy, and that life-giving energy is God. But we will look at the thing and try to understand its attributes. Try to explain it with our logic, missing the entire point. That the thing is same as you in its most fundamental essence. I cannot remember who stated this quote, but I want to share it with you. Listen to it very carefully. It holds a truth that is not understood by science. Here it is. The act of looking is the act of creation. What you will look for, you will find. What science will look for, it will find. But what it will find is another creation. As we are the mediators of God's expansion in our lives. So, what we will assume, give our dominant attention to, will manifest, as an individual or as a whole. Thus, the act of looking will end in the act of creation, as we are at the leading edge of...
Bruh. That's facts. That's facts. Bro, that's facts, bro, because I don't know the best way to explain this. But what you're seeing is what you're creating. And it's really hard to explain, but you gotta think from a scientific level, our nerve ends, we're projecting forward, you know what I mean? Like, everything you see on the outside is coming from the inside. I don't know how to explain it, bro. I ain't the best one to explain that to you, but that's facts.
Give our dominant attention to, will manifest, as an individual or as a whole. Thus, the act of looking will end in the act of creation, as we are at the leading edge of creation, manifesting new realms with our collective minds. Our thoughts and feelings are giving birth to new realities every single moment. The point is, you will not find God by looking for it everywhere but within you. What you will find when you look for God will be another creation of God. God is present when the mind is absent in you. God is here when you are here. God is pleased when you are pleased. God is joyful when you are joyful.
Vice versa.
Now don't mistake the momentary pleasure of ego to be the pleasure of God. Anything experienced from the premise of separation is not the real experience of God. God is there, but your ego that believes in separation will dilute the experience, or altogether make it into something else. This is not to say that the ego is bad. Ego is the very reason why we have creation and endless possibilities. If we all knew who we are and believed in unity, there would be no motivation or need to create. Our individualized self is what makes...
if we all believed in unity, there would be no motivation and need to create. That's interesting. That's interesting. I gotta feel me run that through my processes, because that's a little mindful.
We have creation and endless possibilities. If we all knew who we are and believed in unity, there would be no motivation or need to create.
Well, I guess because if we all knew who we are and all believed in unity, we will all be, God itself. We will all be what it is, and what it is all possibilities, all things are already all created. So I can see why there would be no need to create, because it's already all created. It's already all created. So us not knowing that it is already all created, it gives us the ability to create. Hey, that's crazy. Okay.
Our individualized self is what makes this game of life fun, but hideous at times as well. So the point is not to get rid of the ego, but to develop it gracefully. Embrace it, but do not completely identify with it. Knowing that it is not you is the first step. You can then begin to enjoy your ego. It is called your ego, not you ego. It is something that you have. It is not who you are. The moment you are able to make a distinction between your ego and yourself is when you will begin to experience God in your life, and you will come to know it. This is not to say that you will transcend immediately and leave this body and become God. That is not the point. The point is not for you to start to dislike this life and go live inside a cave.
Right.
The point is for you to know God, and then do God's will in your life. Do what God is intended for you to do. What is that? You know it. Not your ego, but really you. I have searched for God in many texts by now. Guess what? It has made me even more confused.
Damn.
But one feeling that I can't seem to shake off is this. Every single description of God that I have come across thus far is so egoic. It sounds so human, as if articulated by the ego. And then I realized that it is an attempt of the ego to try to understand something that is by its very essence not understandable.
Bruh,
So
that part.
ego articulates it similar to itself, because that is what the limited knowledge of ego can conjure. You can't know God by looking at it from the outside. Thus, it is a lost cause, but not an uninteresting cause. I thoroughly enjoy the pursuit of God. I have embraced this fascination of my ego, and I am playing along because I enjoy it. But I already know where God is. Now, this doesn't mean that its creation is not fascinating. So, this message is not for you to stop seeking. Just don't seek anything to complete yourself. You are already whole and complete. Seek just to enjoy, just to satisfy your curiosity. All the while,
I get it. I get it now. Wow. And it's not something you can explain. It's not something you can explain. But I'm gonna try my best to. So the ego is like you seeking what God is just the ego entertaining itself. It already knows what God is. It is. You feel me? It already is. Like I can't explain it no different, but I know it on like past the mind level, like on the here and now type of level. Wow. And then the ego is just playing a game to keep itself entertained. Like the ego is basically God. Well, the ego, because it doesn't really exist. Sorry, buddy, but it's God playing a game to like discover itself, to rediscover itself. You know, it's a quote that goes, "God became man so that man can become God." And I get it. I get it now. But you know, I'm still gonna keep seeking because I love this shit, and I just wanna understand it as much as I possibly can. You know, in the mind aspects, in the mental aspect, because on a whole nother level, I already understand it. Like it's just what it is. But on the mental level, the egoic level, I'm going to keep seeking because it's entertaining and it just, I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of want to. I don't know. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. That's the best way to put it.
experiencing God in your life. By silencing the mind from time to time and being present, enjoy science, religion, and knowledge. Excel in this life. Manifest wonderful life and enjoy the amazing experience of this world. But always carry the knowing of who you really are within. And carry the presence of God with you in your day-to-day life. It will make this game of life much more immersive and joyful.
It's
God
really a
is here.
game.
Be still and know that I am.
Hey, that was fire, I ain't gonna lie. That was fire, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to subscribe to Brody like that. For me, I'll be seeing these numbers everywhere, I ain't gonna lie. The ones they be speaking to me. But yeah, man, I had to react to that video right quick, man. As y'all can see, like, I really love this shit, bro. Like, I don't know, I love truth, man. I love seeking truth. And I love life. I love experiencing life. And for me, I love the ups and downs. I love the challenges. Like it's really a game, and it's a fun ass game. And when, like, shout out all my truth seekers. And I don't know how far each and every person is on this journey, but like, it's like at a certain point when you realize what you really are, you kind of get sad about it, cause it's kind of like one aspect is you've been living your life in a complete lie. Like everything you think it is not what you think it is. And then on the other aspect, you're like, damn, so man, I don't think I'm gonna go there right now. I ain't gonna go there right now, but I might make a Patreon and talk about that, cause it get deep, man. It really get, like, I didn't cry, I didn't drop tears thinking about this shit. But then on the other side of it, it's like, damn, it's so amazing what this is, and what just how it works is so fascinating and amazing. So, and I'm at the point where, like, all right, let's do it. Let's play the game. Like, let's get it. So, but I might make a Patreon to go deeper on this topic and truth and what I think is really happening here. Because obviously, I can't really, put it together on a mental level, but. I mean, I feel like I got the keys, I ain't gonna lie, man. So, but yeah, that's the video. I'm gonna end it there, man. Hopefully y'all enjoy. I'm gonna do more reactions like this, because we gotta get the truth out there, man. But yeah, man, this for the truth seekers. This for the ones that actually want to know. Yeah, man, let's get it. I'm gone.